Speaking now, inshallah, about Shaykh Muhammad Yaqoubi, I don't have no script prepared. Most of us are very familiar with him. But let me introduce him to you from how we know him from his teachers, from those awliya Allah that have passed away and those that are living. We have the example of Shaykh Muhammad al-Kattani. Rahimahullah ta'ala was considered to be the greatest last muhaddith of Sham. Shaykh Muhammad al-Kattani. He was one of the main teachers of Shaykh Ibrahim al-Yaqoubi, the father of our Shaykh. Shaykh al-Kattani has sons that are alive, Shaykh Fatih al-Kattani, Shaykh Taj al-Kattani. Shaykh al-Kattani, a big wali of Allah, an amazing muhaddith. He would say to Shaykh Ibrahim, when Shaykh Muhammad was a young boy, take care of your young boy. سَيَكُونُ لَهُ شَأْنٌ. He should have a great importance in life. He would be a man of great importance. Take care of him. And so here we know that he was picked up by the awliya from a very young age. We now have people like Shaykh Fatih al-Kattani, who is almost twice the age of the Shaykh, over 80 years old. An old man, the eldest son of Shaykh al-Kattani. And he openly says, he does not see a man of learning and of tasawwuf in the mosque or in the Arab world the like of Shaykh Muhammad Yaseen. And this is open. This is not that one gathering he said in private. This is something commonly that he addresses people. That he does not know any man that has coupled tasawwuf and the Sharia together like the like of Shaykh Muhammad Yaseen in our age. His younger brother, Shaykh Taj al-Thani, he often says Allah Ta'ala has sent a man to revive these two sciences, tasawwuf and Sharia together. He is al-Huda al-Yaqoubi. We have the words of Shaykh Sirajuddin, rahimahullah ta'ala, one of the greatest imams of this time, one of the greatest arifin of Allah and of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one of the greatest shuyukh who have written indispensable works. Shaykh Sirajuddin, rahimahullah ta'ala, who passed away in 2001 from Halab. He said in his time, a young man has come to Damascus. His name is Muhammad al-Huda al-Yaqoubi. Hold on to him, for he is the man of this time. These are what the ulama and the awliya have said about him. Let alone a disciple or student speaking about the Shaykh. And the disciple or student should always speak good of their own shuyukh. And that's the adab that we must keep. That the disciple and the student must always keep the best opinion about the shuyukh. But what do the elder shuyukh say about people who are much younger than him? We have the example of Shaykh Muhammad Yaseen, al-Arif Billah, considered to be the Qutb of Sham, passed away I think in 2004. Shaykh Abdul Rahman, the leader of the Shadili way in Dimashq, the combiner between the outer and the inner sciences. He taught Aqidah in his home for a long number of years, in Salihiyya, for a long number of years. And when he became old, and he wanted someone to take over his class. He's been teaching for a very long time. And he, within himself, had all the ulama in the Sham. If he requested any one of them to come forward and take his class on Aqidah, they willingly would accept. From all people, Shaykh Abdul Rahman picked and chose our Shaykh, Shaykh Muhammad Yaqoubi. And I had the honor that when Shaykh Muhammad Yaqoubi moved the dars to the masjid, I attended the second dars that he gave in Aqidah in the presence of Shaykh Abdul Rahman al-Sharuwi, who was much older than the Shaykh, and he exchanged ijazat with the Shaykh. He exchanged ijazat with the Shaykh. He took ijazah from the Shaykh and the Shaykh gave ijazah to him. Shaykh Fatih al-Kattani took ijazah from the Shaykh and gave ijazah to him. This is the love of the great awliya that they are showing to our Shaykh Muhammad Yaqoubi. And this is something huge that we don't find in our time, where such awliya of such a level are giving their support to this one man. We now know that the leader of the Shadili way in Sham is Shaykh Shukri. Now most of us are familiar with him. Shaykh Shukri al-Luhafi, the best reciter, or one of the best reciters of the Quran, and a calligrapher. And the common name of Allah that we see, as we see here, is written by him. This is written by him, Shaykh Shukri al-Luhafi, and well spread amongst the Muslim world. He took ijazah from the Shaykh. He took ijazah from the Shaykh. And he attends and visits the Shaykh in the The world goes to visit Shaykh Shukri al-Wahafi, but he supports our Shaykh and shows love to our Shaykh. Wallahi, this is a great man of Allah that we have within ourselves. And we should be honored. And more so the hadith of the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, where he said, I leave you two things, the book of Allah and ikrati, my family. And he said, وَلَنْ يَتَفَرَّقَا حَتَّى يَعِدَ عَلَى الْحَوْضِ. And in one reading that I've heard from my teachers, حَتَّى يَعِدَ عَلَيَّ الْحَوْضِ. That the book of Allah and my family will never part, will never separate, until they both come to me on the hawd on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And the ulama say this means you will always find Ahlul Bayt, people of Ahlul Bayt, ulama that are carriers of the book of Allah. And Shaykh Muhammad for sure is one of those people in our time. In the UK, in the West, it's become very easy to become a Shaykh. If you can string a few sentences of English together, crack a few jokes, make a YouTube video, you become a Shaykh. It's easy as that. But in Sham it's not the case. If you want to become a Shaykh, any one of you want to become a Shaykh, very quickly, go and tell a woman. She'll go and spread it. And if you want it to become faster, tell her not to tell anyone. And it'll get even faster. But the truth is, our Shaykh, we have people coming over and he says, Shaykh Muhammad, Shaykh this, Shaykh Fulan. There's a world of difference between these people that come. And you and I have experienced this. I'm not saying nothing that you do not feel. Inshallah, I'll stop here. Allah give tawfiq that we benefit from the words of our Shaykh. We learn from him, we have attachment towards him because he is from Ahlul Bayt. And he is the holder of Ahlul Bayt. And he is the holder of the book of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, a guidance in our time. And we now know that he has spoken up, not against, but giving nasiha to the government of Dimashq, that killing Muslims is not allowed. Most of us, I believe all of us, are familiar with this khutbah that he gave 2 weeks ago. And we know the hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ speaking up in the face of a tyrant is the greatest jihad. And our Shaykh has led the way in almost every field. May Allah give tawfiq that we understand the value of such people and we benefit from them. I'd like to share one last thing before I leave. The barak of the Shaykh. I had a nephew a few years ago, about 3 years old now, 2.5. When he was born in Birmingham, but my sister's in-laws are in Sheffield. So for the first 7 days he was not named, and we were calling him Ahmad in our home out of love. We decided to name him on the 7th when we do our Aqiqah, and I had told my family I would request Sayyidi to give us the name. So we in Birmingham were calling him Ahmad. The child's grandparents in Sheffield were calling him Raza, or Rida in Arabic. Raza, out of love. No name had been given. On the 7th day, Shaykh Muhammad was in England. So I asked the Majid to please ask Shaykh Muhammad. He said, I phoned the Shaykh. And I said to him, Shaykh Yaseen has had a nephew, and he'd like you to name the child. Shaykh Muhammad made salawat on Rasulullah ﷺ, remained silent, and then gave one name, and he put the phone down. And the name he gave was Ahmad Rida. He united the two together. Alhamdulillah, the child is on the search, make dua for him. He also becomes a great Shaykh in the footsteps of the great Imam, Ahmad Rida Khan, alayhi rahmatu rahman. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.